Good morning, Chavra. Today is the 12th day of Shevat. And yesterday we were learning how the mitzvahs are the will of Hashem. So when we do a mitzvah, we're mamish connecting to Hashem's desire and will. And today we're going to discuss how learning Torah connects us directly with Hashem himself, as the Torah, and in particular halacha, is not only God's will and wisdom, but as we learned yesterday, the Kabbalah teaches us that the Torah and Hashem are one. Page 108 in your Chayenu. המחשבה והירו בדברי תורה שבמוח, וכך בדברי תורה שבפה, שהם לבושים, הפנימים של נפש הליקיס, the thought and meditation on the words of Torah. Yesterday we spoke about doing a mitzvah, you do it with action, but when you think about and meditate on the words of Torah, which is accomplished in the brain, and the power of speech, because you can't, it's better to say the words out loud, to say the words of Torah. You're preparing the Erev Shabbos, Shnai Mikra, you have to say the words. You can't just read it with your eyes. These being the innermost garments of the divine soul, the Nefesh Elikis, and thus closer to the Neshama itself than the faculty of action, the external garments. And surely the divine soul, the Nefesh Elikis itself, which is enclosed in them, meaning in the thought and the speech, engaged in the Torah study. Yesterday we said that when you do a mitzvah, you become a chariot for the will and wisdom of Hashem. But when you're learning Torah, you're really connecting. You're not a chariot anymore. You're one. You're in perfect unity with Hashem. Now goes on to explain how Torah study is able to affect this level of unity. Shemahar medaber ba shekol halacha is saying prati hamshacha is pnimius ratzon elyon atzmei. What's the will of Hashem? The will of Hashem is identical with the halachic subject of which one thinks and speaks, inasmuch as all the laws of halacha are particular expressions of the will of Hashem himself. This is what came up. This is what God desired. That Hashem wants that this thing is permissible or kosher, or that this person is found exempt or innocent, or the reverse. So since every halacha expresses the divine will of Hashem, the unity with which the study of halacha affects the body and affects between the soul and the will of Hashem will surpass even the unity of body and soul. When you have body and soul, there's the body and there's the soul. When you learn the halacha, it becomes one with Hashem. You become one with Hashem. Similarly, all the letters and the combinations in every part of the Torah, the Nevi'im, the Ksuvim, the prophets, and the writings are also expressions of Hashem's will and wisdom, which are united with Hashem in perfect unity. When it comes to us, if we have knowledge and we write it down, it becomes separate. But with Hashem, He is the knower and the knowledge and the subject of the known. That's a difficult concept because it's hard to wrap our heads around that, but that's what the Rambam explains. So thus, when you learn Torah and Nevi'im and Ksuvim, you become united with Hashem's will and wisdom, which are absolutely one with Hashem. As we mentioned a couple of days ago, or yesterday in the beginning, this is what the statement means, that the Torah and Hashem are one. They're not organs of the king, as the mitzvahs are. For as explained above, the unity of the mitzvahs with Hashem is that like a body and soul. Two separate things. They're joined together. They work in unison, but they're two separate things. When it comes to the Torah and Hashem are one unit. So since the will of Hashem, which is a perfect unity with Hashem himself, stand completely revealed in the divine soul and its inner garments, being its thought and speech while a person occupies himself with words of Torah, and there's nothing obscuring Hashem's will at the time. There's nothing in between. In doing a mitzvah, it's me doing this mitzvah. When we learn Torah, we connect with the source, with Hashem. It follows that at that time, the neshama and these garments of thought and speech are also truly united with God. When we connect with God, when we truly unite with God, with a unity comparable to that of God's speech, just like we said that when a person speaks, the words become separate from him, not so with Hashem. Nothing is separate from Hashem, except that when Hashem decides to hide his own countenance, that's from our perspective, we don't see it, but nothing changes from Hashem's perspective. And even furthermore, moreover, the unity, meaning the unity of the Nefesh Elikis, the divine soul, and its faculties with Hashem, that is attained through the study of Torah, is even more powerful than the unity of Hashem's infinite light with the upper and spiritual worlds. So even if it's the upper worlds and the angels, it's still Hashem and the upper world and the angels. It's still two separate things, if you will. Even though obviously it's all spiritual in nature and they're very close. When we learn Torah, it's one with Hashem. The will of Hashem is actually in the neshama and its garments that are engaged in the study of Torah, since it's identical with the Torah being studied. Not two separate things anymore. All the spiritual worlds receive their life force by way of the light that comes from the Torah. So when you learn Torah, you're mamish connecting to the Torah and Hashem, and the upper worlds come from the Torah. As it is written, the pasuk says, "Kulam b'chachma asisa," you've made them all with wisdom. So Hashem's wisdom is thus the source and vitality for all the worlds. So then you have the Torah, which is above, then the Chachma, which is lower than that, and then you have the creation of the higher worlds. In fact, the Torah, which is Hashem's will, is described as Seiviv Kalaman, encompassing, surrounding. That means that's at such a powerful level, it's too powerful to be inside. That's why it's surrounding. It's surrounding and transcending from the outer level and in an encompassing manner. Just trying to show here that even the highest of worlds, Hashem is giving the life force and sustaining them from the outside, looking in, because it would be too powerful if it was inside. As like, so even okay, we're back. It's this level which transcends all the worlds that is clothed in a truly revealed form in one's soul and his garment when he studies Torah. So this light of Hashem that's sustaining the world from the outside is the same light that a person connects to when he learns Torah. The upper worlds are sustained from the outside because it's too powerful to come in. But when we learn Torah, we're connecting to that outside light. We're going straight to the source. So even though he doesn't see it, even though a person might not feel it or experience it, still, in fact, this is why he can endure. If he did feel it, he wouldn't be able to handle it. So it's a catch-22. If you felt that you were connecting to the Ein Sof that was sustaining the higher worlds, you wouldn't be able to handle such a thing. So the fact that you can't see it and can't experience it doesn't mean it's not happening. So we learn Torah, we're mamish connecting to the Eibishter that's creating the angels and creating the higher worlds. It's mamish such a high level. It's not like you have your body and your soul. It's like we're mamish becoming united with the Ein Sof, with the light of Hashem. So the takeaway is, Chavra, any moment that you learn Torah, you are understanding Hashem's mind. At that moment, your mind becomes intrinsically connected with God's mind. You might not feel it, you might not see it from the physical standpoint, but it's certainly happening in a real standpoint. What is real? Spirituality is real. Anything that's negative and that's on the other side, it's like it's not really life. It's not really sustainable. So anyways, let's learn Torah, let's unite with Hashem, and also let's fulfill the mitzvahs that we talked about yesterday so that we can connect to the will and the wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In the meantime, everyone do whatever you can to increase in Torah and mitzvahs. I'll bring Mashiach, and wishing everyone a good Shabbos, Shabbos Shira. Stay warm.